It's a cold and dark start to the morning, but we have finally arrived here in the Netherlands for the start of Fendt Farm Season 2. Hello again, I am Jim Bob, and welcome to our newest Let's Play here on the GreenRiver 2017 map. So, we gave you the choice. Do you want to go with Fendt Farm or do you want to stick with Deutz Farm? The answer was very clearly bring back Fendt Farm so we can play here on GreenRiver. So that's what we've done. We've killed off Deutz Farm. That's finished, that's gone. We're replacing it now twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays with Fendt Farm, as you can see. Starting here at the farmhouse, and we are starting big. We are going to start very big and very strong. There's a lot of stuff to kind of go through to get us up and running, so I'm going to kind of do it in menu form because it's quicker and easier. So, first things first, we are starting with some animals. We have, as you can see, 50 sheep. They're at reasonably good health, 92%. We don't have any wool being produced right now, but we do have a little bit available to us. They've got a little bit of water left. They've got plenty of feed left. We do have 50 of them, as you saw there. Over here, we also have a low loader trailer, a big water trailer, an auto load bale trailer. We have a couple of our first tractors in here, and these are mainly just for operating down here. So as you can see, we have a little Fendt 716 just here with skinny wheels. This is mainly for when we do grass work and weeding and so on and so forth. We also have this larger 822 old school favourite. This here is again mainly for use at this yard. This is going to do bale work and other little odd jobs for us as well. Then the tools that we store at this farm are over here. So you can see we have the large Pottinger tedder, we have the Kuhn merger, the Fendt big baler, or single axle baler from Black Sheep, and then we also have a weeder as well. That's pretty much all we have over here. We do have a few bales. You can kind of just see where my cursor is. There's a little block in that window. We do have some bales. I think there's 12 bales in there, as feed for our sheep, and we also have a forklift sort of in a shed way down the end there as well for when it comes to sorting out our pallets of wool. But the main bulk of our equipment is elsewhere on the map. Let's get some lights on and move out. So as I say, the purpose of this farm is to go hard right from the very beginning. So as a result of that, we have a lot of fields and we have a lot of equipment. I will show you the field breakdown in just a second. But first we're going to take a little bit of a detour over to the BGA because we do have some equipment waiting for us at the BGA as well. And I kind of want to show you exactly what it is we're going to be starting with. The worst indicators ever. It's so hard to see them, even at night time. Ridiculous. Oops. That is not my turn off. That is a little footpath. Here is my turn off, just here. Do I have lights on? No, I don't. I thought it was a bit hard to see. Just open up the BGA here. So in here we do have a few bits of bobs of equipment. So we have a Big M, as you can kind of see just through the windows. I do love these things. These are fantastic. And this map, actually, with two really, really big grass areas that we're going to be working each year, is perfect for a Big M, I think. Then we have a Big X 580. We are going to be doing corn chaffing from year one, right from the very beginning. So we needed to have something to be able to do that. And because it's a Dutch-themed map, we needed to have a little bit of Dutch equipment as well. So we have, from Veenhuis, this 36 and a bit litre trailer. This is going to be mainly used just for gathering chaff and then bringing here to the BGA or to one of our bunkers at the farm. And we also have this large sort of spreader system just here from Veenhuis as well. This will be used for both slurry and digestate, so we'll have a bit of a choice with that. And then over here we have a couple of tools from Liebherr. So we have a telehandler and a wheel loader, and the wheel loader, as you can see, fitted with a 6,500 litre buck rake just there, rather than the usual bucket that I normally go with. I thought we'd try something a little different this time. So there we go. That is what's stored here at the BGA. Now we own these two, and we own these two tools here, and although we've kind of paid for them, technically we don't own the Liebherr equipment. This is owned by the company that runs the BGA, but they have graciously allowed us to use it. It's very generous of them, seeing as we paid for it. Just close the gate behind us. There we go. Let's make our way over to our main farm, our main sort of staging area. This is where the bulk of our equipment is stored and where we're mainly going to be operating out of. We just scoot down this road here. I do love this map, I really do. I've spent a bit of time on it while I've been prepping this farm, and it's just fantastic. Absolutely love it. There we go, and here is our main farmyard. So we're going to park up in our car park. It's very unusual to see a map that has a car park at the farm. I mean, I understand it. It's just, I don't think I've ever seen it before. At least, certainly not on console. It's just one of those little oddities, I suppose. Actually, no, we'll leave the gate open because we're going to need to drive out of here, aren't we? So this is the main farm, and we have a lot of gear here. A lot of stuff that, you know, is designed to help us get up to a strong flying start. So we have 3 trucks in here. First off, we have our grain truck system. So we're using the Agro Truck mod here to give us the AgroLiner truck with grain storage, and then this AgroLiner trailer here to go alongside that. So that's effectively one piece. We also have this AgroLiner flatbed. This is primarily going to be used for transporting our wool to the store, but also in some cases we'll use this for bale moving where we need to as well, if we're going to go and sell off some bales or transfer bits and bobs around, and maybe some logs and maybe a few other bits and bobs as well. And then here we have the standard man truck that you get from the main game itself. This is not a mod truck, and we have the Horsch seed tender fitted to the back of it. And the reason I went with the standard truck is just the way it connects here. It just looks better on this truck, because you actually see these clamps clamping down to the subframe here, whereas the other one, it just kind of plonks itself on this sort of connection here, and it doesn't look as good. So that's why we've gone for a standard truck for the seed tender just there. Let's make our way out. Move over. You can see we have a combine. This is the largest Fendt combine of the two. So the 9490. We have a 9-meter corn header just there, and then we have the 35-foot Fendt Powerflow header just there as well, mounted on its trailer. Moving over to the second shed, this is where our tractors are stored. Now we have 3, and we may be adding a 4th in the future, but we have 3 for now. So we have a Fendt 826. I love the 800 mod series. It's fantastic. One of the best mods on console, I think. It really is superb. And so we've got 2 of them. We've got an 826 in standard Fendt green. We have an 828 in this awesome sort of graphite grey colour. I love that colour, with these black rims as well. And then we have the daddy, the 939, 390 horsepower Black Beauty. Love this. This is the most powerful Fendt that we have available to us, and it's just a shame we don't have a 1000 series. You know, I'd love to have a 1050 sort of sat in that space just there, but maybe in the future, you never know. So that's our 3 kind of tractors that are going to be working this farm. I'm going to pop that door actually, because we're going to be driving in and out of there in a second. We have a plough for each of our tractors. Our 2 800s have these small medium-sized jumper ploughs, and again a weight for each of those. And then the 939 has the largest of the jumper ploughs, and again a weight for some counterbalance. Then we have this large 12-meter Horsch cultivator, the 12-meter Evo seeder for our regular grains, the 12-meter Maestro for our corn, our sunflowers, and our beets, etc. And then we're also using the Horsch sprayer as well. Let's see if it has the name. The Lieb. There we go. A strange name there, but we're using the Horsch Lieb as our sprayer. And that's kind of pretty much all of our equipment, but there is one more thing to show you, and that is just over here. And one of the fields that we've acquired is this small grass field here, but rather than us actually do anything on this field, I've turned this into a little community area for the village, which sort of, or the town opposite our farm. So the citizens can come in and they can do some work in greenhouses, they can have their own little allotments. We will provide the manure when we have it and the water for their goods. So we've got people growing lettuce on this side and then people growing tomatoes on this side. And as you can see, we've also got a couple of little community huts here as well. So there's a nice little sort of utility building here for them. There's a little area here so they've got somewhere to sit and have a bit of a rest. And we've also got a little tool shed just over there as well. And this area will continue to sort of expand and grow a little bit, I think, as the farm progresses. But a nice little community give back area, I think, just here. So now let's take a look at our starting field allocation. So the game normally starts us with fields 27 and 18 on this map. These fields, we are going to be putting corn on both of these fields and they're going to be used for chaffing. This one here is going to go to the BGA and over there, and this one here is going to feed the silage pits at our farm down by the chickens. That way we can make some silage for selling, and we can also make some silage for feed for the cows that we want to bring in later this year. And then I've added in a selection of fields over here for us to actually work as well. So field 11, field 10, 22, 20, 25 and 24. These are the main fields that we are going to be working for crops. Now we're going to plough out 22 into field 10 and link those two together. These are going to stay as individual fields, 24, 25 and 20, and so is field 11. So we'll have a selection of fields available to us for different crops. And then in terms of grass, well, that leaves us with this big grass field here around the back of the animal. So if we zoom in, you can actually see this lighter green area, or this different shade of green area here. This is where the animals are. So this is the cows and the sheep and their respective pens, and then the grass field goes all the way around the edges like that. It's a very big field, so that should be good enough for all of our bale needs. But if we need more, there is also a huge sort of grass expanse all the way around the back of the forest here that we will be using as well. I've actually taken a couple of trees out on this little side access bit here to get us into here, and then we can go and run around in here and do whatever we need to, be it grass bales or silage bales, for silage, or hay bales for feed. A lot of stuff there, that we can work with. And that's why I think the Big M is perfect for this map, because we've got these two very large grass areas that we can just really unleash that thing in. And then of course we've also got this field up here that we can potentially purchase as the farm gets bigger as well. So I didn't want to go too crazy. I didn't want us to have too much to get started with land-wise, because we are running a 6-day season, and although we have a lot of equipment, year one is always hard to start because none of our fields are ploughed, and we kind of need to get that done straight away. So without further ado, let's jump into our equipment and get it up and running. I'm going to use workers in our two Fendt 800s. And then we're going to use the 939. And we're going to try and get as many fields ploughed today as we possibly can. You can see in the weather icon we actually have snow predicted today. We're using the Wales geo, so it is going to be a very sort of wet climate. And that's kind of typical, pretty atypical of the Netherlands. There are kind of three distinct climate types in the Netherlands, but the most prominent one is just a very wet climate. So the Wales geo is probably the best one for this, but we could possibly have got away with just the standard seasons geo, and we could also possibly have got away in a very, very limited area of the country. We could have used the Paraguay geo, because there are some that are almost tropical, parts of the country with their climates. But the Wales geo felt right to me. It felt like the right one to use, so that is what we are going to get done. Let's start off by getting this worker up and running just here. So she just turn off those beacons. There we go. We'll try not to bounce around between our vehicles as much as possible, although the exception to that is going to be with workers, because, you know, driving a worker to where they need to be. Beyond that, you know, we'll try and just manually move between our vehicles rather than using quick switching like we've just done there. So this is our 828. I love this sort of grey colour with the black rims. I think it looks fantastic. Obviously there are a lot of colour options for some vehicles. The 800 favourites here, or these 800 Varios, these don't have huge colour selections. You can have them in either of the sort of green shades associated with Fendt, the older style or the newer style. You can also get them in white, in black, and this grey colour as well. And I really like this grey with the black rims. I think it works really well. So that's why we've gone for it on this slightly more powerful one. It gives it that kind of almost slightly more menacing look, I think. And this guy we're going to start... Actually, we'll get him on the same field, but we'll start him about halfway along and make sure he goes the right way when he gets to the bottom. Let's see. That's about halfway, I think. There we go. So we'll keep an eye on this guy, make sure he's actually going the right way. And from him, we are going to go back over here and we are going to jump into our 900 Vario, the Black Beauty, the 939, our most powerful tractor. And this is the one that we're going to be driving manually ourselves. If we can get at least a couple of fields done before it starts raining or snowing, you know, then that's awesome. I mean, my biggest concern is that, oops, we are going to get actual snowfall settling on our fields, which is going to be a disaster for us if that does happen. If you look at the forecast, you can see we actually have snow forecast for tomorrow as well, and that would just be awful for us if our fields got buried in snow. We'd have to clear all that away before we could even start ploughing, and with just 6 days per season, that would really, really limit us. The other thing with this particular plough, because it's so wide, is you can see how much it sticks out across the road, so we're going to have to yield for the traffic an awful lot when we're moving around using our 939 for ploughing. We're probably only going to really use it in the occasional bit here and there. My hope is that after we've got the year one ploughing out the way, it's going to be easier to manage our fields and we won't need to plough that often. Obviously we don't have to plough until the third harvest is done, so if we only do one crop per field per year, then that's only one harvest. But potentially, you know, if we're doing double cropping, then we might have to do a second one as well. You never know. And this is the field that we're going to work here, field 20. So let's lower this down and off we go. Let's turn those off. Don't need the beacons on anymore, now we're off the roads. Let's get our working lights on as well so we can see what we're doing a little bit more clearly. This is the field that we're going to work on our own, and we're going to get our AI working for us on field 25, as you can see. And hopefully we can get these done before the weather changes, or at least make some really strong progress on these. So I'm going to jump ahead for a bit and I will catch up with you once we've made a little bit more progress. We're making great progress here on our field, but our workers have been going absolute gangbusters, as you can see. One of them has already finished his section, and the other one is probably on his final pass, so we're going to have to reallocate those from field 25 over to field 24 and continue our morning spring ploughing. Still haven't seen a change in the weather yet. It's nice and sunny right now, but there is snow forecast. So how long are we going to have to wait for that to come? I don't know. That is the big question. Let's see, has he completely done this, or has he left a strip? I know he's completely done. Excellent. So there'll be some tidying up we'll need to do. We'll do that towards the end, but let's get this guy up and running over here, first of all. So I'm going to do this in a slightly different way. Let me get this guy started here, like this. Hopefully he will then go to the right, and then we'll get the other guy alongside him, and he will then hopefully go off to the left. These trees here in the corner are going to make it slightly awkward. You can see almost done on this strip here. So as soon as he finishes this, we'll move him over to field 24 just there. 25 itself is now essentially done. We're just going to have to clean up that bottom edge, because I know that's going to be a bit messy. Getting down to the business end of this field now, which means I can then move on to a different location to start doing a little bit more ploughing. You can see we're well past midday now, and still no change in the weather just yet, which is good, because I am, as I say, worried about the prospect of snow falling on our fields while we're trying to plough them. Let's see, what fields do we have left to work? Well, we still need to do 10 and 22. They need to be linked together into one big field. There's also field 11, and then that's it for our crop fields. So we want to try and get those up and running as quickly as we can. And oh, as we're talking about the weather changing, I just noticed the icon just pinged to snow. So maybe we're getting, well, we're definitely getting closer to snow happening. It's just a question of when it's going to happen now. Doesn't look like it's immediate. I'll definitely be able to get this field finished, and hopefully my workers will finish off on field 24 as well. But it may end up slowing us down when it comes to field 10 and 22, and then field 11 as well. What I'll probably end up doing is I'll get my workers to plough 22 and 10. There's a very, very small gap between those two fields, almost non-existent gap, so they'll just automatically carry on from one field straight onto the other, and then we'll just go and make the join a little bit later, and then we'll work on field 11. And then if we can get all of our crop fields done today, then tomorrow we can get our planting started, and we can also start looking at ploughing out fields 18 and 27, ready for putting corn down when the window for corn opens up as well. So yeah, that's kind of the plan for the rest of the day, and sort of the plan for tomorrow as well. Obviously, depending on what happens with this snow, if it's heavy snow and if it settles, that could seriously change our plans. And we are only on a 6-day season, not a 9-day season, so our planting windows are definitely a little bit smaller than we've had, and we've got quite a lot of land that needs to be worked. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see exactly what does happen. And there we go, we are done on this field here. Let's take a quick look and check. Looks nice and clean. No discernible sort of red dots anywhere around the edges. Obviously you can see our workers still busy on 24. We're going to go and clean up the bottom of 25 just here. before we do anything else. And then, as I say, we're going to plough out field 11, and we're going to get our workers to work on 10 and 22 together. So let's make our way over. Just run down to the path, and then we'll use the path to navigate our way to the bottom. And of course, we've got faster traffic on this map as well, which helps. So it means that we can actually travel at speeds higher than 18 miles an hour. There's no sign limits or speed limits that I've spotted around the map, but with the traffic in most areas moving at around 30 miles an hour, that does mean that we can kind of, you know, assume that there's a 30-mile-an-hour speed limit and run at that speed accordingly. So let's just do one single, hopefully just one single vertical band, or horizontal, I suppose, depending on which way you're looking at it, you know, across the bottom here, which should, in theory, tag all of those little bits that got missed, where we got a little bit too close to, say, either traffic or a lamppost or something. It just didn't quite go all the way to the edge. They've done a pretty good job, and obviously the corner is always going to be a tricky place for the AI. AI does not like corners, but we'll do this one pass along here, up the side, to get those little patches on the corner that you can see, and then we'll go and attack field 11. Used to be I really didn't care what direction my furrows looked. Now I kind of do like them all to look the same direction. I'm not, you know, I prefer not to do this. You know, I try and keep all my furrows in exactly the same direction across the entire field now where I can, but sometimes it's just not always possible, or it's just going to be too much work to actually kind of change something. You know, if to fill in all those gaps would have meant a lot of back and forth, and it's just much more efficient for us to just do that single band across the bottom like that. So right, on to field 11. Now I've shortcut across the field simply because of the size of our plough. Obviously the main access point, as you can see, is here off the road, but it's a long distance to travel on the road with a plough that takes up pretty much the entire road. So I felt it would just be a little bit wiser for us to do it this way and cut across our own land. Of course, when we get crops, we won't be able to do that, but we shouldn't have anything that's quite this wide as a, you know, as a trade-off. So yeah, let's get this this field ploughed, and I'll keep an eye on my workers. We'll get ready to move those over as well. There's a couple of trees at this end of the field here that are really close to the field. I think I might end up perhaps getting rid of those. We'll chop those trees down. At least the three that are closest to the field, we'll get rid of those. We might keep the other one or two that are there, I don't know. But those ones that are definitely closest are going to cause us all sorts of issues. Not just for us, but, you know, especially for the AI as well. So removing them off that corner might be the thing that we need to do. So this is our worker finishing off the bottom of field 24. Once again, we're going to do a sweep along the bottom to clear all those little red bits that are going to be left behind. See there, we've got a couple of little patches here where the field isn't quite the same length, and then we've got a little patch up the side here, and then a little patch at the top there as well. This tractor here will then get started on this section, and again we'll get this one on the other side, kind of working there. So let's clean up the bottom of this field. Again, we're going to do a single sweep along the bottom here. Look at the size of those shadows from those trees there. Very big shadows. Let's stretching out all the way across. Look at that, that's fantastic. And I have seen this map at various different points of a year, you know, through the different seasons, and it does look truly fantastic. You know, as it changes through the year, this is going to be such a fun map for us to play on. Really, really nicely laid out in terms of its design. The fields are really good shapes and sizes, you know, that are going to be good for both manual and AI work. We've got a nice, good, large selection of starting equipment so that we can really jump on this and crack on in our first year, rather than having to sort of scrimp and save and struggle through our first 12 months. And next year it is going to be even bigger and even better, I hope, where we can add in quite a lot of additional land. And there's no nuggets on this map either, so there'll be no sort of you know, mid-year or, you know, mid-playlist bailouts. You know, we're set with our money now, so we can't add to it. We can't just throw an extra million on there by collecting nuggets, because there aren't any. So we've got everything we need, but we're going to have to work hard to continue to maintain and expand. It's not going to be easy, you know, that's for sure. So there we go. That field is pretty much done. Just got to do the top section, and then we can get our workers started on the next field. In fact, I think I'll do that right now. Actually, we'll set this guy loose, and then we'll tidy up with our 826. So let's find the midway point, which is about here, by the look of it. There we go. Now he should, in theory, should keep going once he gets to the edge of 22 straight onto field 10, because the gap between the fields is tiny. If we jump out and just move our way up there and take a look. It's quite a wide field, but it's not a very long field. And there you can see the edge of field 10 just coming into view there. And this is the gap. There, that's it. That tiny little gap just there. So the worker should continue straight across, straight onto this field here, and then we can just come in and just plow in this line at the end with our 939 and that nice wide jumper that we have. One single pass will link these two fields together once everything else is done. Just want to watch him make this jump across here. It should go nice and smooth. Oh, he's actually stopped. Did not expect that. He did actually stop. In that case, this may potentially put a wrench in the works. If I start him here, I see now he does carry on across. That's a little odd. Okay, let's see if he does the same the other direction, but let's tidy up this field edge first of all. So let's take a look at our red areas. We're pretty clean around here. It's just this top edge just here where, again, we're pretty close up against trees by the look of it. So yeah, you can see them just there, look. So whenever we get close to the trees, that's when the AI just, you know, stops, because there's no space for it to turn, no space for it to carry on, and just crash straight into tree trunks. So again, a nice simple sort of little top pass along here just to clean off those edges. There we go. Right, so there is the join point. Hopefully this worker will actually be able to carry straight over as well. Let's check in with, that's us, parked up, ready and waiting. Now he's got to the end. Now this guy needs to turn to the right. And he is doing, that's excellent, okay. So yeah, you can see now he's going to go down on that side there, which means they're not going to collide with each other. So there's a couple of little patches of grass there as well that we're going to have to come in and create fields on just to clear away. So we'll have to remember to check, make sure we grab those. Yeah, if worst comes to worst, I'll spot them when we come to the planting phase, and hopefully we'll remember to do that before that becomes an issue. So I just want to check that, you know, this worker will carry straight over as well. It might be that the plough just isn't wide enough for it to, you know, make that move. Yeah, this worker doesn't want to do that either. Let's see if they do it from the other direction. See, this is our 828. I do love this colour scheme. It just looks awesome. Obviously, we had a white 828 on Dromard. I actually do prefer it like this. I think with the grey and the black wheels, I think it looks a bit more menacing than the white with the red wheels that we had before. So come on, make that jump. Prove to me you can do this. No, doesn't want to do it. Okay. I'm not quite sure why that's happening, but never mind. I'll tell you what we'll do then is we'll get this guy to do this half of the field here. When he gets to the top, we'll get him to do that half of that field there as well, and then we'll switch them over and they'll do the other sides of the plough line. I think that's going to be the best thing to do. And then we can carry on. There's us parked up over there. Look, we can carry on working away on field 11, and then we can join the two together once the two sections have been ploughed individually. So let's just fire the worker for a second. There we go. Move over to this side. Rehire, and off we go. Excellent. Right, so back to us. Let's get our engine back on. And we will continue to work away here on field 11. Well, it looks as though they have actually crossed over, look. They seem to have got in each other's way. Whoops. Alright. I was not expecting that. It looks as though, for whatever reason, certain parts of that they can't cross over, and other bits they can. How much has that actually been an issue? Was this the first time they've done it? I think this is the first time it's happened, look. Otherwise we would have had those warnings elsewhere. Just quickly plough that little section just there. Like that. Okay, well, obviously this is going to start becoming an issue, so we do need to kind of separate these guys out a bit. So let's think, what's the best way to do this? Yeah, let's get this guy running this side. There we go. Let's turn those beacons off. And he is now ploughing something that's already been ploughed. Interesting. Okay, let's stop that. So, if they can now cross over, I guess we'll start this guy back at the top and let him run all the way down to the bottom. That would seem to be the most prevalent thing to do. You can see we're a good way through our field there. We've not quite finished it, but we're not far off. A little bit just there, we can tag that right now. There we go. Tell you what, these Fendts do look fantastic with the sun shining on them. go. It's getting late, look. It's 4:15. It's going to start getting darker in the next hour or two. We still haven't had that break in the weather yet. I'm not complaining, just a little surprised. So, right, they're back on track. We've got about a third of this field left to do, so let's crack on and get that done. And there we go. Finished on the field. Fantastic. Oh, and I pressed circle there by mistake. Not quite sure why I tried to hire a worker as I finished the job. As you can see, one of our tractors is able to cross that gap and has been doing so quite effectively all the way along that patch there. Not so much for the other one. I don't understand why it's done it on part of the field and not on the rest. And as we say that, he's now stopped. He can't do it. The gap's actually narrower. Just there. That might be why he's been doing it. Maybe. Doesn't seem to want to do it there. I bet this guy would be able to. He's got a wider plough. Just nip in front. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put our little sort of corner piece in here to link these two fields at an angle. Just get it kind of lined up. Actually, I suppose what I should do really is actually plough this line here first, so I can see the edge of the field, and you can see how it skips out, look, just there. So I might need to widen the field ever so slightly on the way down as well. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in my little corner piece just here, just to link these two fields together. So if I put the plough down and create new fields, perfect, there we go. Just raise the plough, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plough straight through here and link them. How wide this thing is in comparison to that gap, it's huge. We'll certainly get a nice clean join all the way across here. No worries of one of the edges not being properly connected. It's barely wide enough for a tractor, look at that. It's not even wide enough for a tractor at this point here. We're actually on the field, no matter how close we try and get to staying off it. And then we've got a little bit of a step just here as well, look. So what we could do is we could actually plot a new edge that runs and joins up with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just hire a worker to run down this side and create an edge. I'm going to get him to run here like this, just in case the field steps out a bit along the way down, which I think it does. Oh, straight away, look, it steps out. And I'll get him to do this bit, and then we'll look at maybe stretching that all the way up on the other side, because we've got that same kind of gap to the trees on the other side of the join there, so it makes sense for this to all just be one smooth straight piece. See how it just keeps stepping out in places. Make this a nice smooth straight line. I think it'll look better and be easier for us to work with as well. Again, look, see how much it's just suddenly jumped in there. Yeah, we can cut this. we can extend this and make this a nice smooth line all the way along here. So we'll get to the bottom of the field, and then I'll turn around and I'll clean it all up and carry on up the other side of the field. Go. So this is where the jumper has a slight disadvantage when it comes to creating new fields against, say, the Lemken. Because of the shape of them, it does make getting a nice clean corner a little bit trickier, but it is doable. You just have to be careful not to just stepped out just a fraction too much at the edge, but we can kind of get away with that. Let's turn off the create plow. Just tag this little bit just here. You can see the sun is setting. It's getting late in the day. The weather is still threatening snow, but until we get the little symbol come after that, then it kind of splits that sort of weather box. We don't have to worry about it actually unleashing on us. So we've got a nice clean edge all the way down here now. A nice level edge all the way down here as well. There's the join. You can see that's now much smoother all the way down there. So we've got that guy. Is he still working or has he stopped? No, he's still going. That's good. He is working on that small square section over there. I've reallocated this guy to this bit here. So I suppose it's time for us to kind of plough out this bit down here. I'm going to continue to do the edge. You can see it's stepping again. So I'm just going to hire a worker to run the edge for us. This way I can be sure that I'm definitely not going to accidentally create, you know, a new border. You can see how the colours have really changed on this map as the sun is setting. I love the sun, kind of that sort of faded kind of look there. You can see the trees just fading in the background a little bit, and the sky looked fantastic. And then obviously you move over there and you get really, really bright kind of colours there where the sun is actually setting. And it is getting darker and darker and darker and harder to actually see what I'm doing. So we are running out of time to get this field finished. We'll get it done. If we have to work with headlights, we're going to have to work with headlights, but we will get this field done. And then just down here, it's a little bit, it's like a little patch. Just there, look, which is a little bit, I'm going to roll that out and get rid of that. But the rest of it is now kind of visible for us. So I'm going to go ahead, get my working lights on. Worker is blocked by an object. He's probably come into a tree and, oh, look at this. Oh, this is a shame. We have indestructible grass just here. I wonder if I can get rid of that with create new fields. I hope I can. Let me just run along the bottom. Just create the bottom edge. And also I can see the extent of where that grass runs as well. And this will link up to just here. Like that, there we go. Yeah, that's a shame that we've got indestructible grass there. Maybe I can plough it out. Right, let's see. So let's drop create new fields. No, it's still there. That's a shame. I might have to get in touch with Bart and see if I can get him to just remove that little spot there on the next update, because that is going to poke through and just slightly ruin a little bit what we've been doing with this field here. So maybe I'll see if I can get him to remove that piece there. Just get a worker to finish off for us. But yeah, this is definitely a shame that we have this little patch here, look, of solid indestructible grass. So we'll just have to bear that in mind. We're not going to be able to do anything about that unless Bart does remove it in a future update. So we're going to have little patches of grass poking up through our crop. I suppose it's not too bad. It's only a small patch, which is good. And we do need to kind of do something about this edge just here. You can see this here, this little lighter section. All that is part of the field, effectively. I'm going to roll that out. So we'll plough that up and then we'll roll it away and just have no texture there whatsoever. Just the default sort of texture with no grass poking through. But yeah, we'll get this field finished and then that'll be it for the day. Oh, look how foggy it's getting. Oh, look, it's not snow, it's changed to rain, and I think the rain is coming. That's why it's suddenly getting so much foggier. I think it's about to start raining. Well, at least it's not snow. Snow could possibly have been disastrous for us. But yeah, we'll get this field finished and then that'll be it. So I'll see you in a little while. Our work on the fields is done, but look how bad visibility is. I can't see a thing. Really, really bad right now. We're kind of making our way back to the farm to clean everything off and put it away for the night. And we have managed to achieve our target of getting all of our fields ploughed, ready for planting tomorrow. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching. I am Jim Bob. I'll be back with another episode of Fendt Farm here on GreenRiver 2017 very soon.